this beauty here. 67 Camaro convertible. This is a pretty cool car. So this auction's no reserve. It's April 12th. Bring cash. So this 67 Camaro is going up then, along with all the rest of them. So it's going to be a wild mother auction, and I hope everyone spends all their money on all the other cars. Yeah, this is the one I want. Come on down on the auction and check out all the rest of them. April 12th. Good day. I was going to take the day off, but I'm actually having a lot of fun with this one. So this morning I've ground that floor pan I installed yesterday, and the other floor pan is excellent. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lift it up and we can see what it looks like from underneath. Oh, I kind of want to put that frame rail in today. Someone cut out a couple of feet or more. It's a freaking mess, but I might support the back of the car, weld something to the ground, stabilize it here, and chop out the rest of that frame rail and install that new one, just to make the car nice and stable. I was going to do the black back floor pans next because they need some attention, but I may go to the frame rail first. Anyhow, let's lift it up and see. Okay. So, I should have ground this before I let you see it. Anyhow, you can definitely see it's penetrated. I have some greebly sticking out here, but it's all penetrated. It's welded all the way through. That's what's important, right? So if I gently grind that, that'll become invisible. Man, I'm trying to copy factory. Look at this, right? So if I can paint under here, tomorrow I have body mounts coming for the front clip. So if this is all epoxied under here, then I can put my bolts in, and I can pick up the car by the back end. It'll be sitting on the front wheels, and I can whip this over to the 4-post hoist, because I've got to bring in a sports satellite. I think Greg assembled the entire body a few years ago. So I want to bring that in on the 2-post to lift it up off of the cart it's on, so we can put suspension under it. I think Cassidy will be assembling all the suspension and body on that one. Just depends. I'll yak with her and see what she's got in mind. So as you can see, I'm going to set this up here somewhere, and I'm going to get this prepped so that I can freaking paint it. So now I can use a small grinder and just detail it, do a nicer job of it. I use the big one just to take down the bulk of the ugliness. And I just gotta find, oh, there it is. Grind this smoother. We generally like to make the underside look as good as the top side. You don't want to crawl underneath your car, changing oil, and see a bunch of freaking scars. So, you want to clean it up, make it look nice. Now, in the last few years, I've had clients I'm building for, and they actually, you know, the underside of the car ends up being perfect. I mean, new floor pans, everything. But they're still getting me to put a coat of rock guard over it instead of paint. You know, we can save 800,000 bucks of materials and paint and clear coat, and as long as we epoxy it, then we can just put a light coat of rock guard over it. Helps with rock chips, looks super clean. And I mean, I've done cars where we sand the bottom and polish the bottom, high-end show cars. But in general, realistically, you just don't want it to ever rust again, and you want it to look great and be easy to maintain. So even on some of the high-end builds now, we just do rock guard on the underside. So we're gonna make this look really good anyhow. Also, I should mention, just saving a few $100 in clear coat and paint is not that big a deal. What you are saving is sanding the underside of a car, which is going to be mostly by hand. So you've got it up in a rotisserie and you're sanding that to 400 grit. So if you're going to paint and clear coat underneath, and I generally use waterborne at home, you've got to prep accordingly. And that's where the money difference is. The prep time. Just saving a few $100 in materials, one way or the other. But by going with epoxy and then a light coat of rock guard, I can finish it in 120 machine, hand scuff, coarser grit, have great adhesion, and I don't have to worry about sandpaper scratches, which, as you can imagine, trying to sand by hand, and we do it all the time, but it's an unnecessary expense for the client, and you're trying to make it so you can afford to build maybe another one or two. So it's mostly about the prep time. Okie dokie. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, we can get more carried away. You can always get more carried away. Anyhow, I'll have to go over. I see a couple of tiny pinholes that I missed. I can make all kinds of excuses, but I just wasn't comfortable welding in there. That's why I want to get it on the 4-post. The guys are doing it up in their backyard on a couple of blocks, so it's not much of an excuse. What matters is when I'm done, it's good. So I see a spot there I missed, just a short section when I started and stopped my weld. I think that's the only spot. So I'm going to lower this down a bit, and I'll clean that up, and then I'm going to mix up some black, and I'm going to spray under here back to about here. The frame bolts up back here, somewhere around there. I will be replacing parts back here. So I'm going to prime to about here in the tunnel, do the firewall, then when I go to put the fenders on, I can just bolt them on. So this is the big step. The firewall and underneath is now sprayed black, so that tomorrow when I get body mounts, that front frame section is bolt in. So now what I want to do is I think I'm going to tackle frame rail. So before I do that, and I just found my black stuff. Okay. So before I do that, I've got to figure out where these are. That anchors the bottom back seat. So I'm going to measure from here to the front edge up top, and then I'm going to take a sideways measurement so that when I replace this frame rail, which comes right up to here underneath in my floor, then it'll be back in exactly the right place. So actually, I'll just go to the front edge, and that is exactly 18 7/16. 18 7/16 to this line to the front edge. Then I'm going to have to drill that check the other side, see if it's similar. And yes, it is. So they're both the same. And then, on the inner rocker, 6 3/4 to center. So, we'll go 6 3/4 to center. Down here. Yes. Look. It's a bit different. It's within an 8. No? It's 7 inches. Okay, I'm sure it's not that critical, but I'm putting it back where it was. So, now that's the frame rail back here. It's cut off up in here. So I'm going to block the car up a little bit. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to tack something on just to hold the back of the car up. So I've put in a shim, a grinding disc, to make sure the body's resting comfortably there. I've got the outer wheelhouse, outer quarter, stabilizing the car there. But you can see, there's nothing in here. So when I take off that rear bumper mount brace, and I'm gonna cut out this floor, I'm just worried about the quarter panel dropping down. So I'm gonna come out here, and I'm going to weld something to this lip, to the floor, just so I know it's staying exactly where it is. I'll continue to check the trunk, make sure nothing's changed there. It's flush on both sides with no pressure on it. So when I cut this out, it's like you're playing without a net. I mean, there's no brace. From here, there's a brace that's supposed to go to the inner fender well, which isn't there. Inner wheelhouse. You can see the brace over there. It's not a big deal to fabricate something like that. But I want to do the frame rail first and get that in and make the car a unit again. Especially if I'm going to be throwing a chain around this once the front end is bolted in, lifting the whole body up and hauling it around to the 4-post. I think we're going to have Miss Cassidy running skid steer. So yes, this is going to be a fun job. So this frame rail right here, this has to be taken out. Right? It's welded to this floor support. And once I get it out, I may have some repairs to do underneath it. I definitely have to replace the floor above it. For the ease of taking it apart, I may just zip cut down the sides and zip cut off the front just to get it out of the way. Now the back end, we've got bushings here, right? This frame rail is coming out right up to the tail pan. And that's when I worry about things moving. This heavy plate has to stay. The inner is excellent. The drop off for the trunk. But again, I might just zip down the trunk floor on both sides. Yeah, but here again, we have this heavy support in here. And I believe that's for like a heavy weight they put in the convertibles. Anti-vibration piece, I believe, but I gotta look that up. I could be totally offside. I'm gonna have to save these when I do the trunk floor. That's to hold up your fuel tank. But for now, I want to get the rail in. So I'll easily zip down there. I don't know, I might even torch some of this out just so I can get in there and grind it smooth. Not too sure. But it's a bit of a job. In fact, I may go up top air chisel. Like cut this down here on the inside of the frame rail, and then I can pop this trunk floor, which is going to be getting replaced, off of the frame rail, and that might help me get away from this reinforcement piece in the corner. But once it's up in the air and I weld a bracket on it to brace it, that's it. I can't lower it or raise it. And it shouldn't take that long. But I'm going to feel a whole lot better about the car when this is done. And a little more of the Swiss cheese to admire. I put a transmission jack underneath. That's holding the back end from dropping down. And I've shimmed up here, so I've got the outer wheelhouse and the outer quarter. And there's a lot of structure in there. I just don't want to have any issues. So now Mike would be very happy to see I'm going to use the plasma. The last 2 times I've used it, I've started a fire. So I'm going to try to be careful. I think I'm going to start by just trimming off near the flange so that I can get in here with an air chisel and pop that off. I've got to save this lower piece of metal. This top one I don't have to. Over here, same thing. You can see there's a reinforcement over here. So I don't want to cut through that. So I'm going to cut down here, across the top, both sides, get rid of it, and then clean it up with a drill, a grinder, who knows what I'm going to do. And at the back, sort of the same idea. Cool. Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to use the air chisel. It's all against 2 pretty heavy metals, and I'm thinking it might just pop off nice. Before I do that, just for fun, I'm going to air chisel, or sorry, I'm going to plasma cut back here. Well, some really good engineering went into this in the factory. You can have it cut just about all the freaking way off, and it's not giving up. Okay. So, multiple layers of metal in there. A boss for the bushing for the rear leaf springs. It was very hard to get in there, but now you can see it's Gandhi. Don't need that anymore. Okay, that goes back there. Oh, and it's a perfect fit. Yes. It's been a good day. Finished grinding my front floors, prepped everything in the front end, painted it so it's sealed up. Got back here. And now I've got this frame piece fit, but now I just have to start welding around it. So, we'll see. I'll pick away a little bit here, but I think that might be about it.